Welcome back. So I hope everybody had a little refreshment and we can dive into the consciousness of AI. So we're having our third panel, and welcome Paula. So Paula is also from Invest Hong Kong, and an introduction in Invest Hong Kong, so yes. So we're having panel 3 questions, and at the end of panel 3, we did a poll. So we did a poll, a global poll with more than 400 family offices, and we asked some questions. But I'll come to that after, which is quite interesting. So we'll be live reacting on this poll. The results just came in. So first question, how to align AI with human values and ethics? So that's the question, how we can like align the machine, if I can call it like that, or the thinking process of the machine with human values, noting that the machine can already today take his own decision in certain ways. Yes, who wants?
Yes. And I would say one of the pieces with technology that, I don't know, just connecting to what you were saying, that a lot of people are afraid of technology or losing their jobs. And at the end, it's more like a blending with the technology. I call it the Iron Man approach. Like, meaning he doesn't have power, he mixed with technology, and then he get the power. When we see technology, I always put a simple example. Like, if you take a GPS, I don't know if a lot of you were using the books and maps before GPS, but when you take a GPS, the GPS is telling you, go this way. And if you just follow straight, that's kind of the machine will tell you, like, invest here. But also you have your own criteria. Like, no, like, I don't want to go through the promenade. Even if you are saying go through the promenade. Like, no, I will go and go back on the other side. So those are the decisions that you can only make as a human. And if we take that to the limit, even to life or death decisions, where a machine can make the most efficient decision, but maybe it's not the one we wanted as humans. Like, I mean, it could be the most efficient for saving the building, but not for saving an animal that was there. I don't know. Like, that's the piece that I think is going to be key in the future, how we work as humans with technology and how we educate ourselves to work with technology.
So there's something quite interesting here, which is, first, let's set the stage. Alignment is not a universal concept. My ethics may not be the ones that you have. So we need to start from understanding that we have to have a degree of locality and adaptability to people, where they are and what they wish for, so degree of agency, right? And then we have to understand that in order to have ethics, you need a perspective. Actions are valenced only from a position, right? So you need the ability to give your agent, your AI, a sense of anchoring in the world, whether it be from an embodiment, being a robot, whether it be simply from having a degree of perspective for measurement, and a stake in the game. And this is where we get into governance. 2 reasons that we don't all kill each other constantly. 1, we have governance frameworks. We have consequences for our actions, and we have ways to know how to harmonize with each other. You need actor governance. Who are the people deploying the AI? You need agent governance embedded within the AI systems themselves. And eventually, you won't just have one AI. You'll have a system, a network of agents working together. So you need network governance. And finally, the last piece, which I think is the most important one and often overlooked, empathy. We need to give our system the ability to empathize not only with us, but with other agents, such that they coordinate in a way that is demonstrably pro-social. So those would be the answers to that question.
Well, very few things to add to that, because I was about to go into the cultural pluralism aspect as well, because indeed, your ethics aren't mine necessarily. I think that there's nothing to add to that answer, at least not from my end. The only thing that would be is, if we look at the current, that's how it should be. But if we're currently looking at what it is, I think AI is a perfect tool to weaponize cultural aspects, which is happening as we speak. You know, it's about, you know, European values versus American values versus Asian values versus whatever. and that's what we're seeing currently. So that's something I'm quite, find very interesting to see how that will play out the next couple of years. But in my opinion, currently it's being weaponized, on a cultural level.
I'd like just add one point to that. Just was one point that just to add to the response which you gave, this is very important to understand how humans develop the values. We have to follow the same construct for developing the values in the systems. That's all I wanted to add. Sorry.
Totally agree with that. So, and we see indeed today a weaponizing. So for cultures, we see all what's going on and the stake. You see that the investments, decisions of the governments, like the US is now investing again, how many billions, and Europe is doing it the same, and the Russians are doing the same, etc., etc. So that's indeed, but that's not the topic of today. That's a different topic and a very interesting topic I would like to talk about later on, but not now. So let's go to the second question, and I'm looking a little bit at Paula and Carla to think about that one. Is would you trust AI to make a major decision in your life or business? So let that one sink in as well. If somebody from the audience wants to react a little on that one, so we first let the panel and then we'll go to the audience. All right?
Wonderful. On a personal level, for me, no. I would definitely take the suggestions, whatever it kind of like can analyze to give me like food for thought. But for a major decision, no, because again, what we were saying, there's no emotion, right? And these are very important components when you have to take a decision on on a major goal. And we're looking into things such as what's that motivation, inspiration you have in order to create a project or a life decision. It's not only whether it is suitable or not, but whether I do have like that stamina or that drive to make it happen, which at the ultimate end, it's my responsibility.
Totally with you. I would say maybe, because you definitely will use whatever comes out of AI to help you make that decision, right? Why not use all the data and perspectives you can get? But I think a lot depends on whether you have asked all your questions, right? Whether you have put in all your considerations. And I think we humans we're talking about these TV shows, right? That supposedly match people based on science. Why is the result just as bad or just as good as in simple life? Because there are a lot of things people don't say, right? There are a lot of considerations, like you said, about that life decision that you won't put into words, right? That you won't put into your questions, that you want data about. So then you get the data and you're like, oh, but this is also a consideration. This is also a consideration. So I say, hey, let's welcome every possible info, data scraping that we can get. And then, of course, I always want to be the person who yes or no pushes the button. I'm there with you, right?
So your answer is no?
Maybe.
Okay. All right, from the audience?
Thank you all. It's Fiona Bannister. I wear three hats, but one is as a family forest. Yes, but one hat. No, but three, because I carry a feather in my hat and my heart from the indigenous peoples that I've been working with in the rainforest. We just competed in the X Prize Rainforest Conservation. We got kicked out in the semifinals after we really proved that we could use AI to measure and monitor the environmental DNA of the rainforest, looking at the soil, the water. We were able to also look with NASA underneath the canopy of the rainforest. We were able to listen and hear 500 different birds, the bees. We could figure out when a toad couldn't get its mate, the change of their voice, the way they croaked differently. Those values, we haven't yet figured out how to monetize it to pay back the rights of nature. And somehow or another, in that context for me was also the middle of COVID, and I had people needing their health care. They needed, the indigenous people were like, Fiona, we need food. We don't give a shit about the X Prize, We need food now. We are dying. We have COVID. How do you take that data that we have, how do we save people's lives? How do we get it right to the end of the line and embrace their unique abilities, their choices, not mine, not the way AI from Google was coming down or from Planet or from, sorry, I'm not here to bash the X Prize. It was an experience. I learned a lesson, but I learned a lesson that was very expensive for the cost of nature, for those involved. And there was one area there is that Clinicom is the mental health app that I'm, as a family office, I don't like that term because I've really lost a lot of my office official side, but it's Clinicom can actually measure and monitor the health of the mental health. So I wanted to just put, there were some really great things happening, and I want to have us all participate because I can't find us anything more than those few bees.
Thank you. So would you trust AI to make a major decision for you? Yes or no? Yes or no?
The answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
It's not inclusive because we can't yet afford to bring in all the components, but we can do it together if we work together.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Maybe
Yes, John.
just challenging because in general, I think indeed it's important to have clarity how the systems is working, that it's proven and so on. But I will just give you the example of analyzing images by pathologists. It's already proven in clinical trials that those machines can take better diagnosis than the human itself. So I think in certain elements, I would trust it. For this perspective, I would trust it. So.
Okay. So you're changing your answer from yes to from no to yes? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to add at one point. Like I think you came to the point a little bit earlier. Like the more data you get, sometimes you get just more confused. And I think it was Alan Watts who said like every decision is basically a coin toss, because you're always going to doubt that you have all the information to take a decision. So I think that's still my stance on it. So I just toss a coin anyways.
Okay, thank you. But you limit your choices. I get that one. 1 second. Yes, Alejo.
So I don't know, on my side, like I'm passionate about technology and I see everything from the technology side, kind of what I was saying with Iron Man. And someone was asking, like, will you do bungee jumping? I was like, no way. There are many humans involved on my bungee jumping. But I have done like a free fall with acceleration with machines, and I'm not afraid of the machine. Like I know the machine will stop. On the other one, there are so many, and the machine could also make a mistake, but it's less probability that could make the mistake. I think it goes to how we use technology. Like meaning the same point I have it in US when you go to autonomous cars, and there are a lot of people saying, oh, I don't allow the car to drive by itself. It's like, oh my God, I love it. Like I did Quebec City to Montreal, just the car driving by itself, and I love it. I was like, you just need to be there just if something happens. But I trust technology.
So you slept.
Oh yeah.
Good. Okay. Yeah, you're alive. So we'll take one more question from the audience, and then we continue because we need to be much more in time. You had a question?
Another question. I was just answering your question. Yeah. Okay. So I do think we still, I think we will always take a decision based on intuition and feelings, and then we try to justify it in hindsight with data. So I think I also trust technology, so I think I would also say yes, I would do that. But if the answer is not what I thought it would be, I would probably start manipulating and asking different things. So at the end, it's still what I had in my heart, in gut from the beginning.
It's a good answer. So what I would say is that we're getting a little bit more interactive, so I like that. So this afternoon, we're having a workshop on those topics. So that would be interesting. If you're interested in more interaction, come to the workshop. It's downstairs. So yes, you wanted to answer one?
Yeah. I think it really depends on the AI and the kinds of decisions you let it make. As he said, currently, right now, you're all trusting AI for your decisions. I'm sure most of you have Netflix. You let it choose what to show you. You've probably shopped on Amazon. You've let it show you the right elements to buy. However, there are systems which are known to fail, and we somehow are okay with that. Right now, LLMs are being used on Google to give us wrong responses, sometimes dangerous ones. So those ones, no, I would not trust. But basic clustering algorithms, those are tried and true. Basic dynamic modeling, again, tried and true. So it really depends on the stakes of your decision and how much you understand how well a system does for a given purpose.
Yes. Just adding to that, I would be strongly advocating working on anti-recommenders. In my time,
I get the idea. It's a good one. Yeah. All right. So we have 4 more minutes because they will make a stop over here. So we did a poll, like I said, with more than 400 family offices, and it's quite an interesting one globally. So we ask a few questions. Will AI outperform human decisions, for instance, is one of the questions. Can AI improve transparency in investments? Will AI augment human decisions? Might be another one like, let me have, let me just check because we asked like 10 questions. I'm not going to name them all, but one is AI is too risky for major investments. Can AI help democratize investments? It would lead to more risks. So I'm just going to tell you the biggest results that we had, and then we can have a little discussion about that. The biggest result is AI will augment human decisions. So that's what they said. It's logic to me. The second one is AI can improve transparency. So the machine we have 10 minutes, Eduardo? Yes, 10, okay. AI will, the third one, AI will lead to new unforeseen risks. So risks we didn't have today, and we might have with a machine. So these are the 3 biggest. I can tell you maybe one more big is AI will unlock new opportunities. That's the 4th biggest. But you see that family offices are already in a very traditional business starting to embrace, like new technologies, which I kind of find a very positive trend. So maybe some remarks from the panel. Who wants to react? Yes, you, Martin, maybe first.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks, JP. I promised that I would give a little plug to the family office group that did this, so I will do that now. It's called FOS, Family Office Socials. It started out as social, but now it's a group of about 800 family offices around the world, run by my friend Sam. So if you're a family office and want to join, it's all free, organic, and you get great insights like this and sharing of ideas. I think it's really interesting results, and funnily enough, they do echo a lot of what we've expressed here on the panel as well, and what I've sensed from the audience in response to these kinds of questions. The standout result by far was, will AI augment human decisions and not replace them entirely, is kind of what people thought was the most important thing. That's where I think psychologically we're the most comfortable, and I think technologically, except with a few use cases, that's it. Another thing that stood out to me really from the questions was, there was a question that AI is overhyped and won't significantly impact investment practices. 0% of family offices thought that. So it's nice to have this quantitative data fresh in this morning to back up what I already saw from that group anecdotally. Surprises-wise, no. I think not really, knowing the group as I know them. A good 20% thought that AI could lead to unforeseen risks in investment strategies. I'm one of those that kind of voted for that one, to be honest. But nothing really shocking. It's kind of what you'd expect. But I think it is just reassuring to JP's point that this is a big topic for family offices, and they are kind of, to my experience, trying to reach out and embrace it and kind of make that part of the decision-making process.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say, like, just as a remark, because we're talking about real-time data, AI, technologies, and all that, but I think one of the pieces that AI will accelerate and will change a lot, and it's nice that we're experiencing this, but it's also scary, is that a lot of technologies will converge. And that is it's not going to be about if AI is going to make decisions. We're talking about quantum, AI, blockchain, all coming together. So it could be more transparency, more performance, better way of taking decisions. I don't know how we can enable ourselves to work with the technology, but it's interesting times. What will be coming? Like meaning, I don't know, in terms of investment, having quantum and real-time data, what that will mean. Like meaning, maybe it will be less bubbles in the stock markets, and people will have more access to the data in the right time.
Yes, and then that connects with the last question we have, as we're having 5. Eduardo, give us generously 10 more minutes. So we have a last question: is will AI democratize investments? So in that sense, will you have Alexa in your kitchen saying, "Buy now that share, go with that private fund, do this or do that for $20?" So I'm like speaking a bit black and white and putting it on the table, but that's eventually what AI could do. Hence, that's what they're working on quite a lot in Africa. So yeah, what's your take on this, Yogesh? Maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree with that it will democratize investment, but we'll have to look at one aspect, that when we talk about an investment, just somebody is saying, you have to take it as an information point. And looking at that information point, like humans have evolved, right? As in when machines will evolve, humans will also evolve further. Because the way we think today, that thinking pattern will change in future. And we will be able to more trust the judgment of AI because we are giving constant feedback also to it. So yeah, please go ahead. You want to add?
Sorry, the piece that I was going to say, and that's the human side of the decision that the machines won't understand. But if we take like President Trump just saying, "Hey, Greenland," or Panama Canal, like all those things, a machine will understand, like, oh, Greenland is becoming US, Mexico is no longer Gulf of Mexico, is Gulf of America. Like things that machines will take it as maybe a true. It is the human side that is like, no, is part of the magic show that the attention is driving there and something else is happening here. So I think that will be difficult for machines to detect what is true and what isn't, because they cannot really learn from sarcasm.
You would like to
Yes,
add
John.
something?
Yes, John.
One of the things, indeed, I do believe that it will democratize and it will make it more available for everyone. But one of the things that we need to realize, only 18% in Europe of all people is financially literate. That's one of the issues. I think we should make sure with those kind of things that it's not gambling, that people take it as a gambling machine. And I do think AI can even play a role there as well in teaching, educating financial literacy into the organizations or into the people.
Yeah, totally agree. And Paula, you can add on that, is that the impact of AI in education is a different topic, but that will revolutionize completely and change the way education is happening now. Yes, Paula.
Just one side remark on the democratizing element of AI for investing. It doesn't democratize who has the starting funds to invest, right? I might have access, but still, the vast chunks of money with an increasingly small group, right? I say that wrong. More and more money is with fewer people. So I might have access to, for 20 euros to invest, but I need the money to invest to start.
I think that's a really good point, because currently you can invest. Anybody can go on any platform and do microtransactions. However, the more people do it, the more the system becomes chaotic. So something we're going to want to invest in, or the research that we're going to want to look at, is quantum technology, not necessarily quantum neural networks, because those are very specific, but specifically the entanglement nature of quantum technologies, because a lot of people will be clustered in the kinds of actions they're going to integrate based on the information they have access to. And we're going to be able to understand the ways, a little bit like fluid dynamics, that certain kinds of clusters of investors will have an effect on for the rest of the market. So I'll pay attention to that.
Totally agree. Yes. Okay. I think we'll more or less wrap up. One thing I would like to say, I would thank all the panelists. We continue this debate at 1:30 downstairs, -1, the same building here. And can you please close the door? Thank you. Okay. It's Trump way of saying it, I would say. Anyway, we're wrapping up. So we're having also a WhatsApp group, Conscious Decision Taking in the Age of Real-Time AI. So if you want to join this, there's a lot of information shared there. We connected to a drive as well where we share documents in the topics that we're handling. So that might be quite interesting. We'll share the results of the poll completely in there as well. So that's what we're going to do. And this afternoon, to switch to that again, we're having a workshop and where it's going to be interactive. So we can continue discussions there. Yes, Wilfred, you can close
the door?
No. The door is being closed.
Yeah, a pragmatic comment. We'll go to the floor -1, and there will also be lunch for if you want so. So you can join us for that.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you.